To make a standard double crochet stitch, you will start with your slip knot, and then you will make the designated number of chains that you will need for your project. So if I want this to be 5 stitches wide across, I will make 5 chains, and then I will also need an additional 2 chains. So we're going to start in the 4th chain from the hook. So this is the loop on your hook. This is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chain from the hook, and we're actually going to work into the 4th chain. This 3 chains that we're going to skip over here it's our turning chain, and we're going to actually be working into this. So we're actually going to make this our first stitch. So to begin, yarn over, insert your hook into the 4th chain from the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. And you now have 2 stitches. The turning chain is a stitch, and the stitch that you just worked is a stitch. We have 3 more stitches to work. So yarn over and go to your next chain, insert your hook under the top loop of the next chain, and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. For the next stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into right under the top loop of your chain, and yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And here's our very last chain. This is our slip knot right here. This is our very last chain. So yarn over and insert your hook into that chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So if you look at the front here, we've got 5 stitches. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so this turning chain over here, which is the first 3 chains that we skipped, that is the first stitch. So there's this 1, 2, and 3 chains. Looking at it from the top, there's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, with the stitch number 1 being the turning chains. Okay, let's get started on our second row, and we are going to make 3 turning chains. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, this chain 3 is going to be our very first stitch on the second row. Unlike how in single crochet and half double crochet we never included those turning chains, and we would work right into the base of where our turning chain was coming out of. This time we're actually going to skip that base. So we've got the 1, 2, and 3 chains, skip that base, which is actually the top 2 loops of that very last stitch that you completed. So turn your work, yarn over, and from the top it's going to look like it looks like you're going to go into the 5th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right there. So just insert your hook under the 2 top loops, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that made your second stitch of the row. Yarn over and make stitch number 3 go into the 2 top loops, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. For your fourth stitch, yarn over, insert your hook under the two top loops of the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through two, yarn over and pull through two. Now for this very last stitch, this is where it differs from the single crochet and half double crochet, because normally you would turn your work, but in this instance we're actually going to work into that turning chain. So make a yarn over and we're going to work into the top of that turning chain. So remember that there was 3 turning chains, so here's chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. So you're going to work right into the top of that chain 3. Just insert your hook under those very 2 top loops. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, that was a little tricky to get under, but we're under. And yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And you've just completed your last stitch on the second row. So count your stitches: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this over here again is your turning chain. So let's go ahead and work one more row. And you're just going to repeat row 2. Make your chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And looking at it from the top, make a yarn over, and it looks like you're going to go into the 5th chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And just go under those 2 top loops. Yep. And yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And just continue working across, making your double crochets. And I'll show you once again working into that turning chain when we get to the end of the row. What's really nice about this particular method is that you have a lot straighter edges versus if you would just leave those turning chains hanging out at the side without working into them. Okay, so we're on our very last stitch of this row. I always have to turn it around and flip it so I can see my chains that I need to work into. So here's your chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3, and we want to work into the top 2 loops of that chain 3. So we've got the yarn over on our hook, and just get your hook under the 2 top loops. I find it a little challenging sometimes to get under those 2 top loops in the chain stitches. They seem to be, you know, like a little tighter to get your hook under. Okay, and that's the end of row 3. And so you've got your 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so you will notice that your work will look a lot straighter versus if you had not worked into the turning chain. And another thing that you'll notice on half double crochet, on double crochet, is that you get these holes on the edges where your chain 3s are, and that's because the chain 3 is not as thick as your worked stitch. This hole can make a very beautiful accent on the project that you're working on. It makes it look very lacy, and it also provides an area if you want to actually maybe run some ribbon or a different colored yarn. Just weave it in and out of those holes, just to kind of accent your project. So that is how you work a standard double crochet stitch.